Let me change your mind.
Require my assistance? Adigo! We're gonna be rich. Require my assistance? Who am I?
Let me change your mind.
Greeting, traveler. Change your mind. Require my assistance? Adigo! We're gonna be rich.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. It is Wednesday, and you all know what that means. Yes, we get to start making hump jokes. Yes, we are one day closer to the weekend, and yes, you know what? Once again, I don't know what my third point was going to be, but that's okay. Wednesday, most importantly, means it is time for another episode of Tavern Talk, the show where we like to make our hot takes and bad takes alike. Sometimes those two things are one and the same, but that's okay. I am your host, JR Juggerlaw, and with me tonight are, of course, my general co hosts. No guests tonight, of course, but we've still got one hell of a show planned for y'all. Starting off, we've got the master of OPs, the man that is not a doctor, but he is definitely part fish. Say hello to Dr. Fish.
Hello, everybody. They are how.
And, of course,
I was gonna,
no,
I was
go
gonna
ahead.
ask how you were doing tonight.
I'm good. I'm ready. Definitely excited for what we're going to be talking about tonight.
Awesome.
And of course, my other co-host. Unfortunately, his cam is not working tonight, but he is represented by a Yu-Gi-Oh card, which, as a former Yu-Gi-Oh player, I very much respect and appreciate. Say hello to Geranium Battle.
Hello. Yes, glad that you at least you know the Jerry Beans man that's showing up on screen. I unfortunately will not have my cam for I don't know how long. My computer died, so it's gone. Hey, I'm not that quiet, Corden. I can move closer to my mic. Uh, I look away to breathe from the mic. But
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Also, Cord, and you're not one to talk until you change your name to Cora Dad. Just throwing that out there. I made the poll, but you still haven't held up your end of the bargain.
Yeah. Anyways, I turned Geranium's volume up, Corridon, so just let me know if it's good.
I am ready and to talk about this week right after the nerfs. It's going to be a sort of a hectic shakeup. Maybe the same people who've been winning won't know these new decks.
Yeah. Also, side note, I not only do I know that that was Jerry Beans, man, I remember its exact stats of being 1750 attack and 0 defense. That's how stupid my memory is.
Plant monster, level 3, normal monster. Let's go.
Nice.
Exactly.
I don't remember this card, even though I played Yu-Gi-Oh for a long time.
It was never really a card that was played in the meta, let's put it that way, but it was
Yeah.
cool all the same. But yeah, no, this is an interesting week, of course, because we kind of knew nerfs were coming. We found out last week, and then we found out on Monday, and there's just been this massive shakeup to the meta, and I feel like for the first time, I have no idea what to expect from these nerfs. Like, this is the first time all season where I don't necessarily know what the shift in the meta is going to be like. Because like people are asking big questions of, do we think now Shaman and Warlock are going to be must brings? Do we think people are going to bring them much at all? What decks are going to arise out of the woodwork that weren't really playable before? Like, there's a lot of interesting questions being raised right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely with the changes to like Flesh Giant earlier in the season, it was like, okay, yeah, Blizzard, yeah, you definitely got Warlock, but now, since they're targeting the quest itself, with both the Quest Shaman and the Quest Warlock nerfs, there's some definite thoughts of like, oh, okay, is this actually going to affect how these decks play out?
Right. It's worth noting that this is actually the first time that Blizzard has actually touched any quests like since they introduced them back in Journey to Ungoro.
No,
This is the first time
second
that they ever
time.
felt the need to actually. Or sorry, no, second time. I'm
Yeah.
forgetting about the quest rogue. That's
Yeah,
right.
the Caverns Below got nerfed twice or
Yes.
3 times, and then got reverted.
Yeah, I got
No,
changed.
it was only once. I think.
No, it was twice. They changed the number
No,
of
no, it was
times, and then
twice.
they changed the
First to
stats.
4/4, and then the amount of times that
Yep.
you had to replay a card. That's right.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, that was an interesting situation all around because Quest Rogue itself at the time was a very polarizing deck to play against for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And there were definitely a lot of awkward aspects to playing against it. But this is an interesting shakeup here because now we're talking about changes to a quest line instead of one quest. And instead of affecting the result of the quest, the reward, they're they decided to make it harder for each quest to be completed.
Yeah.
You know, because like when Quest Rogue was first nerfed, they decided to nerf the stats rather than and only after that did they touch the requirements to make it harder to complete. So it's interesting to see them kind of go straight for that instead of trying to address the rewards themselves, which I guess you could argue they're all basically 5 mana 7/7 minions you can play. They're nothing too crazy. But obviously here they kind of but I kind of agree, like, the real issue here was the quest. Especially for the quest lock, it was a bit too easy to complete, and I think it's still a playable quest, but now at least you can't quite make it you can't quite make the effects as live as quickly as you could before, which I think is pretty good. What do you guys think?
I mean, so with Shaman, it's one additional on the final stage of the quest, and they also changed Perpetual Flame, and that makes it so that it can be extremely hard to finish that last little bit, or it can be easy just depending on your draws. It just makes it a lot less consistent um, as to when you're going to complete it. With Warlock, though, it's a bit of a bigger change where it's 8 on every single stage instead of 6, 7, 8, which means that it just becomes much harder to complete the earlier stages earlier, which was then allowing you to discount your giants and really get a lot of other things moving, and make sure your health wasn't getting very low. So uh, I think the Warlock is a more integral change than the Shaman one, and either way, we're going to have to
Mm.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I feel like everything is very undefined right now, so I'm curious to see how many people bring Shaman and Warlock this week, and what other classes we kind of see rise out of the woodwork. Because one of the bigger classes that's being talked about, I feel like, is Warrior, since it got all those buffs. And considering that was a class that was pretty much seeing little to no play over the last few weeks, you have to wonder how popular is it going to be now.
Yeah, and we'll have to see that at least in THL. Um, so we'll see some classes along the way with these
Yes, we will.
matchups that have been submitted. So let's go ahead and get right into our hero series. A little change in the ordering this week is my matches will be the first match in the series that we talk about.
I
Um,
object.
yeah. I picked Bolner Jams 03 versus Bands, Make 'em Dance, and so we've got some really cool matchups this week. We've got Ron Mexico versus Based Inc., Donde versus Nails, The Big Ted versus Astral Frog, Anfall versus For Christ or Seth. We've got
Yep.
and Quaz versus Roadrunner. So Roadrunner, who has been subbed now in for 2 weeks as the permanent 5 seed now. 1-1 is, I mean, there's a lot of really good players in Hero and down in the 5. So 1-1 is a decent start. He's not 0-2, which is nice. The matchups I think that are most interesting is Based versus Ron, and Anfall versus Seth. For sure. I mean, I think I could make a case that every match is interesting. Donde, who started out really hot this season, has kind of fizzled in the last few weeks. I don't know if he was 4-0. I think he was 4-0.
It was 4-0.
So
Yep.
he's lost the last 2 weeks. He's going against Nails, who's seems to always kind of know what's going on, and he seems to be really good at finding what decks and what classes are really good to bring. That's gonna be I mean, there's like the factors for all of these matches is just kind of who can get a decent read. Like we see the classes that have been brought. Ted brought Demon Hunter, Druid, Hunter, Shaman. And we see Astral Frog bringing 3 of the same classes in Demon Hunter, Druid, and Warrior, but bringing in Rogue. And I think there's some classes that I suspect will see a bit more play Some classes were already rising in popularity, but maybe not so much in hero series. Um, like I think Rogue is a potential class that's gonna be seeing a lot more play potentially. Um, Especially if you can put the time in on Garrote Rogue, it's just such a strong deck. But with the if kind of board based decks are coming back, um, maybe there's some chances, especially with Paladin popularity, Rogue might be seen as kind of a Paladin counter again potentially. Um, Maybe
I think
some
that's a valid
forms
point.
other than Garrote Rogue. Um, for going down the line for these actual matches, I think, man, Base versus Ron, such a close matchup. Two of my close friends. Um, I think, hmm, I I think I'm gonna pick Ron for this match. In the one, I'm gonna say Nails in the 2, um, Astral Pog in the 3, um, Seth in the 4, and Quaz in the 5. Although Quaz and Roadrunner is a close matchup. Um, so I pick 3-2 for bands with the middle three. With the middle three being who get the wins.
Yeah, this is
think-
tough.
Yeah, I think one of the only ones. Well okay. I feel like Nails versus Donde is more predictable just because Donde has lost the past 2 weeks and Nails is #1 legend. Um,
Yep.
but an Astro Frog versus the Big Ted. The Big Ted hasn't been doing as well, and Astro Frog has a huge buff being on the same team as his relative by Stink. So Ron Mexico is very, very hot. I want to give it to Ron Mexico there, and I kind of want to just agree with you that the middle three for bands are gonna take it. I can't say for sure that Roadrunner is going to give up quietly though. I mean
Yeah,
he's a WashU student,
he
so
is. Yeah.
he gets the bread ape buff sometimes, and it could be that week.
For sure. Yeah.
I will say that earlier when you're talking about just things in the meta game, we see that Astral Frog did bring Rogue. I think that Garrote Rogue specifically has been falling off
Hmm.
a bit. It had a very strong start, but now the win rate is just sort of decreasing throughout most of its matchups. Um, Either people are learning how to play against it or side against it. Um, but yeah, it's just not seeing as much success. So we'll see if Rogue along with Shaman, along with Warlock, are still here this week.
Yeah, for sure. I think I will say before Jr. makes his comments, I think Shaman will be playable because it already had like 2 or 3 playable archetypes.
Yeah, no, I don't think either deck is going to be completely unplayable. Either class, I mean, for Shaman or Warlock. But at the same time, I'm very curious to see if, uh, how like the popularity, like how popular of a bring each class is going to be. I think Shaman won't be affected as much as Warlock, because obviously the change to the quest is relevant, but not quite as relevant. Um, as the change to the Warlock quest, but we could still end up seeing a big drop in how many players bring it. As far as how this match is going to go, I mean, this is tough. I honestly, the only match I feel confident giving a prediction on is the 2 seed match, and I say Nails wins that.
Hmm.
I think all of the others are so close to call. Like Ron is on a tear this season in Hero, and it's unfortunate that he's having the opposite luck in Legacy. But Base is not far behind him right now, and she's obviously a very strong player. So I don't know. Putting those two against each other, it's just my thought is, well, it's anybody's game. I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's kind of just how I feel about the rest of the matches themselves. Roadrunner versus Quaz, Anvil versus Seth. Astro Frog versus Big Ted. I don't know. This is just I don't feel comfortable making a prediction. All I can say is I think this is going to be a 3-2 regardless of who wins. I cannot see this being particularly one-sided.
Yeah, I agree. So we have our next match, which has been picked by Geranium Battle.
Yes, yes. I mean, I'm going to be talking about my team again, talking about Snakes on a campaign against even without Turt, we must still skirt. I wanted to talk about skirt no matter what this week. It just so happens that they're also facing their closest competitors, 2 points behind, which is my team. I actually I think that Snakes on our campaign. I'm the captain. I'm supposed to rally the troops, and we're gonna do well. I feel like we might lose this week. Super Chicken in the one is so just playing so well this season, uh, and Mr. Python is not having as great of a track record here. Mr. Python is going to come in. He's going to bring in his all, but I feel like Super Chicken's going to take that. Molestar versus Snake, though. Uh, they both supposedly went to the same school, and they both have almost the same PR within 2 PR of each other. But I mean, Molestar, I think, is going to have a bit of an easier time with Control Priest. Maybe being an available option if sort of the big combo decks aren't as available. And if Molestar has Control Priest, he wins. Sorry. CMAC versus Dr. Bomb-D. Dr. Bomb-D, I think is going to take it over CMAC. He's playing super well. And then 9 versus Jess. Jess in the chat is saying he's going to lose in Legacy so that he wins in Hero, and I really hope he does because 9 Eyebrows is a huge opponent to get a win over. They're the back-to-back CMAC and 9. And then finally in the 5, Skirt versus Judo Chop. I think Skirt's going to take it over Judo Chop. Skirt was extremely good last season. He's doing so well this season. I'm going to try and prep Judo for this, but it's not looking great for my team.
I mean, I do think it's very close at the end of the day, so we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, I think BOMD is. I mean, BOMD is just having a great season in Hero, and I'm very glad to see it. I would. Yeah, I mean, I might agree that your team is at a slight disadvantage. I think Skirt in the 5 has is playing really well. Yeah, I think 9 versus Jess is very close despite PR. And I don't know. I think Molestar versus Snake, like you said, if Molestar has like a particular set of classes that he's playing, he can win. Like he might have a better chance, but I think they're both extremely good players. Snake coming off a victory last week, your whole team coming off of a weak win, against my team. But yeah, and I do think Super Chicken is probably gonna win the one, but Python's so good. I think Python could also win again. So I think it's gonna be a close one. All right.
Yeah, I think that covers it.
Cool. We're ready to move on to our last match, and this is the match that JR has picked.
Yes, sir. I decided to go with the fantastic team of at Diamond, which, as I found out in the chat, there was no, even if I tried to avoid tagging Diamond directly, that still tagged Diamond.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. Lesson learned. Versus anyone playing Maestra? Question mark. I went with this one because I think it's impressive that anyone playing Maestra is having a pretty strong season despite looking at their team and not having the best records individually, but still managing to pick up quite a few wins on their end. And then, of course, at Diamond, the team led by Diamond with always just in time in the 1 seed and Lotus Knight in the 2, which up until last week was reversed. Like, these guys are just, oh my God, they're a force. And as we could see, one match has already been played. Mick defeated KSW 3-1. So at Diamond already getting a pretty favorable lead over their opponents. But I still think that this could really be anyone's match. Justin is obviously a very tough 1 seed, and Lotus Knight being a very tough 2. But Venus Bimoni and Jammies, I think, really could give them both a run for their money. Diamond having a very strong season in that 4 seed. Mick is holding his own well enough in the 3, and then of course Roofski having a very even 3-3 record in the 5. I personally would say that I do think the 1 and 2 is still going to go to at Diamond, but I think no, you know what? Let me rephrase that. I think Vino is going to take down Justin, but I think Lotus is going to take down Jammies. And then I think Diamond is going to take down Wyfair, with Nomad Farmer taking in the 5. So I think it's going to be 3-2 at Diamond.
Whoa.
I wanted to avoid
Bone Masher is saying that
betting
Ruski's being subbed out this week.
Oh, he is.
So
he subbed out for Sharkbait.
Okay.
And I feel like Sharkbait does not have the buff of playing against Quaz, her fiance. So,
Yeah.
I feel like Nomad Farmer is favored, but
yeah,
it's
and
team chemist.
Yeah, I guess this must have come in like that must have been put in. It's not updated on the sheet when I took the screenshots at like 8:15, 8:20 ish. So,
But is it on the website?
It probably is now, but it just wasn't when I took the screenshot.
I don't think it is
Oh,
quite yet.
okay.
Sometimes it just takes a little bit to kick in.
Well, Bone Master, the anyone playing Maestra Captain in the chat to give us the update. Thank you very much. Yeah, this isn't. There's some interesting matchups here. I know. Oh,
I mean, no
gosh.
disrespect to Shark,
I think,
but my predictions do not change.
So yeah, I think I'm gonna swap what JR said for the 1 and 2. I think Justin's gonna win. And I'm gonna pick Jammies over Lotus. They're both like very good players. Jammies just hasn't played a Hero Series for a while, I believe. So his PR came in like kind of lower from when he stopped playing. Mick already winning. I think Diamond will win over Wyfair, and then Nomad over Sharkbait. So that would be a 3-2 for at Diamond. Yeah, I mean, I guess Bone Masher is getting his wish for this match. 2 people have picked against this team.
I think hey, 3 people are gonna pick against his team. Don't worry, Bone Masher, because I think that the top 3 seeds on at Diamond are gonna take it. I think Justin's gonna beat Vino. I think Lotus is gonna beat Jammies. I think Mick is gonna beat KSW. And then I think Wyfair and Nomad Farmer are going to take it in the 4 and 5. And that is going to bring anyone playing Maestra to a paltry loss. Sorry, anyone playing Maestra. But Vino will stay the 1 seed, is my prediction.
Oh no, Diamond's on a 2-game loss streak. Oh, I think he snaps it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he snaps it, though.
Oh, you think he stops? You think he stops the loss streak? Okay.
Yeah.
I think he continues it.
I mean, he's going to be a really good opponent. I personally got beat by Wyfair I believe it was last week in Legacy. So good player. Diamond's also very good though.
Yeah, that's gonna be a close one.
Yeah, and I think that covers all of Hero. It's if you want to see like the standings and stuff and look at the weeks prior, Hearth Center did a pretty long episode yesterday, so go ahead and go give that a watch to catch up on the last couple of weeks on the YouTube. So next up we go from our last hero standing closed deck list format to our Conquest closed deck list that series in Legacy. So our first match, we go from Bone Masher to Bone Masher. Got all pros missing versus Golden Wisps. So matchups here is obviously versus Always Lethal. We have Cheesy 10 versus Mick, and that result is in, and Mick has taken a full sweep over Cheesy 10. Then we have Bone Masher himself in the 3 versus MPV. Charup in the 4 versus Stev. And we have Chewbacca in the 5 versus Roadrunner. So let's see. Avi versus Always Lethal. It's understanding how good of a player Avi is, but also understanding that he might not be playing the most Hearthstone. Although I don't really know for sure. I think I will give Always Lethal an edge over him. And then we have Bone Master versus MPV. I'm gonna give it to the Cap. I'm gonna say or actually, they're both the captains are playing that match. I'm gonna give it to Bone Masher in the 3. Chariot versus Stev. Stev looks like he's kind of been on a downward slide. So I'm gonna take a risky call and say that Cherub wins that one. Takes like a PR upset win. And then Shu in the 5 over versus Roadrunner. They're Roadrunner 3-3 even again in this series, and Shu at 5-1. He's a pretty cracked 5 seed. So I know how good Roadrunner is too, but I think I'll give it to Shu here. Yeah,
it's also hard to bet against Shu with that kind of record.
Yeah, as Corridon said, Mick gave Cheesy his first L, kind of a wow.
Also true, yeah.
Mick's obviously a great player, and we're not used to seeing him playing in PR formats because he's generally only play like pro, but he did play I think Legacy and also Hero at one point.
Yeah. I mean, he's playing Legacy and Hero right now.
Yeah.
As in he was the win in both of these 2 matches we just looked at in a row.
Oh yeah.
He beat all pros. He beat APM. So
yes, so he's doing well this week. But I will give APM the week win because I believe in them. They're a very good team. They are the top team, I believe, in the Silver Conference.
Hey, whoa! Golden Wisps is the top team in the
Yeah, I know. We've got the top team. I'm not 100% sure if APM's above Wallet Warriors now. I haven't checked the standings, but Wisps is the top of gold. I'm guessing this is the 2 top. I'm guessing these are the 2 top teams. But I don't know for sure.
Yeah, they're tied right now. All Pros Missing is tied with Wallet Warriors at 106,
Gotcha.
and so now is maybe gonna fall below it. I'm probably not sure, but I think for my prediction, it's gonna be a pretty easy one. Hey, Bone Masher is gonna lose again. That's my classic prediction. I think Always Lethal is gonna beat Avi. Mick just beat Cheesy 10. I actually thought Cheesy 10 was going to win that. So already proving me wrong, Bone Masher. Don't worry, Bone Masher. You're gonna get a loss by MPV, and then Trip gonna lose to Stev, and Chewbacca gonna be the 1 win APM gets this week.
But the only win, damn.
Yeah. Hey, it's not another 5.
No, but it always feels weird predicting anything that's not a 3-2 because it's like, I don't know. It never feels like when a 4-1 or a 5-0 happen, it ends up being like so predictable, like so likely based even with the stats and the matchups in play. But I mean, look, this is anybody's game right now. Both these teams are having amazing seasons right now. And that first win could end up being huge considering, as it was pointed out, that's Cheesy's first loss. So I don't know. I mean, Who knows what this means going into the week for the rest of the matches.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's usually not a good idea to predict 4-1s or 5-0s, but Bone Master's team inspires boldness in me. So
Nice.
any thoughts, or should I start my match?
We're gonna move into your match. So this match
Let's
here
do it.
is silver versus gold. This match here is silver versus red.
Yeah, it's going to be DMB, Dirty Mike and the Boys versus Seek Guidance. We've got one result so far: Kazgar versus Bruto, who replaced Magnificent, and Bruto took it 3-2. Now he's up 1-0 in Legacy, and I believe he also was up 1-0 in Hero. So I mean, he's already proven to be a very good replacement over Magnificent, who
Oh.
unfortunately had to leave for a while.
Oh.
Um, but yeah, Seek Guidance has sort of comparable 2 and 3 seeds, and then the 4 and 5 on Seek Guidance are where it really starts looking strong. However, I think Lefty 2111 is going to use that Demon Hunter that's been revealed in classes and beat Jolt C. So I
Mhm.
think it's going to be Bruto, Snake Fauds, at least winning for Seek Guidance, and then I'll just say why the Hunter wins alongside him, and then Astral Frog I think is going to beat Skittles, and Lefty 2111 is going to beat Jolt C for a 3-2, pretty close one for two teams that are 3-3 and just about the same number of points too.
Yeah. I think this is a close match. I think Lefty versus Choltzy will be a good match, and I think that Megu versus Why the Hunter will be interesting as well. I don't really have any like specific predictions myself.
Yeah. Sorry. I will say the classes were revealed for Lefty 211 and Jolt C. It's not showing up on stream,
Yeah.
but it was Lefty brought Demon Hunter, Druid, Paladin, Warrior, and Jolt C brought Druid, Paladin, Warrior just the same, but Shaman instead of Demon Hunter. So I think the Demon Hunter is a better bring.
I mean, in terms of talking about classes, I'm just, oh man, I don't know what to think. I'm very excited to see how everything seems to look after this, after all these matches play out, and after we kind of get some more statistics.
Hmm.
But I don't feel sure of anything as far as classes right now. Makes me glad we have an extra day because I don't know what I'm bringing for either of my matches this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love procrastinating, but I'm glad
I
to keep
don't, but I
on.
feel like I have no choice.
Yeah. The only thing I submitted was my Battlegrounds lobby split. Everything else I haven't decided.
Well, that's a very different kind of submission.
Oh, sure. But hey, don't forget to get your submissions in for everything, even if it's just putting what lobby split you're playing for Battlegrounds.
This is true. This is true.
Yes. So
And
our
I mean, now this is going to be an awkward week if you have to roll over, considering.
yeah, it wouldn't be awkward for me in one of my matches. I actually didn't bring Warlock in Hero last week.
yes,
But
you still have some choices going on, but
yeah.
JR, what is your match for Legacy?
That's a very good question, Geranium. And I'll tell you right after this break. No, I'm kidding. Um, the match
Okay.
I chose for Legacy was I wanted to make sure that the Red Conference got some representation since the last two matches were gold versus silver.
No.
I picked Chaos Theory versus Dad Legend. And I'll admit part of the reason I went to go for Chaos Theory is one, shout out to my boy Icecleese. But also because this is the first time that these guys are really having a stellar season so far. They're really finally finding their groove, and their rhythm. They have a very solid 4-2 record right now. If they can keep this up, I think they have a really good shot at making the playoffs. As of right now, they are second in their they are ranked second in the Red Conference. And based on the lead they currently have with only 3 weeks left, with only 3 weeks left, including this week, I think they've got a really good shot if they can just keep it up. And I really hope they do because I've been waiting for this team to have a very strong playoff run for quite some time now. And then, of course, they're going up against the legendary Dad Legend, who really don't need an introduction at this point. They've been around for so long. And I will just say that the one thing that's very surreal for me to look at is the fact that Honest Zabe, for the first time in like I want to say like 3 years, is not the one seed.
Yeah.
That's kind of hard for me to wrap my head around, considering he's always played for Dad Legend and Legacy, and he's pretty much always been the one.
Yeah,
That's crazy right there.
he not only isn't the 1 seed, but then he also, I believe, lost in the 2 seed a little while ago. It is a weird time for sure for a lot of players right now, um, and including for Chaos Theory because Kodomora is Chaos Theory. I mean, he was sort of like the driving force for Chaos Theory. Was 6-1, actually 7-1 last season. Now
Yep.
has 2 losses. That's double the amount that he's basically ever had. So maybe some cracks showing, but I think that that Chaos Theory just has a lot of dependable players now instead of the one Kodomora last season.
I mean, look,
I just think that the rest of the team is having a pretty good season because the roster only changed by one player.
Correct.
From last
Ron
last season. Yeah, they lost Ron. For someone who's now 6-1.
Lawful Dog.
So,
And it's Lawful Dog.
Yes.
So, yep. Like
I'm-
that's a pretty good replacement.
Yeah, I'm not
definitely.
saying that the roster change is what's making Chaos Theory better. I just think they're playing better.
Yeah.
They're working as a team better. Like it is.
Oh yeah, no, they're playing better across the board for sure. But having your replacement player be the best performing player on your team, like that certainly doesn't hurt.
Yeah,
It certainly doesn't hurt your case.
definitely. I'm happy to see Chaos Theory doing well.
But now it's interesting because we don't have that shuffling around that we've seen Chaos Theory do before in the 1 through 3. I think Lawful Dog and GHP are still decently close in PR. But as you can see, Isocles is going to be comfortably in that 3 seed for quite some time.
Yeah, I mean, with Notorious GHP and Lawful Dog being the 1 and 2, Isocles is going to stay in the 3 and definitely enjoy it. I think that he's going to have a win this week against Desharmo. And Lawful Dog we see already winning against your mom kid. So then, and with Kodomora, I think winning in the 5, that'll be the 3 wins for Chaos Theory. I think Honest Zabe and Blue Spartan will take it. No.
Yeah.
I think Zabe takes it in the 2. Isocles takes it in the no, sorry. I think GHP takes it in the 2, Desharmo in the 3, Risen in the 4, and then Kodomora in the 5. So I am leaning towards a bit of a 4-1 for Chaos Theory, but I do think that the odds are looking to be in their favor. And I'll just be upfront, I am not betting against Dad Legend because of Yellow Dart. No, sirree. Nope. Nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I think I'd lean Chaos Theory as well. I think GHP in the 2, Desharmo in the 3. Risen's kind of struggled this season. He is 2-4. I think I think Spartan will take it in the 4, and I think Kodomora in the 5. That leaves it 3-2 for Chaos Theory. Yeah, I mean, this season of Legacy is turning out to be pretty interesting in every single conference. But we will leave all the standings talk for Hearth Center. So we will be going to our quick commercial break before we finish out the show with Pro Series.
Yes, this time I'll actually. There we go. I made sure to type it out before I start talking. But going into the commercial break, thank you so much for tuning into Tavern Talk. If you are enjoying our show, make sure you check out Around the Saloon and the Maniacal Tournament Series on Mondays and Rubber Ronnie Tuesday on Hearth Center on something that you will never guess. It's Tuesday. Are you still asking, where's my content? We're receiving THL matches each night from Thursday to Sunday, starting at 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern. All evening match schedules are determined by caster and player availability. Side effects may include knowledge and fun. But wait, that's not all. We also have incredible matches on weekend afternoons on School Zone. Besides times days are subject to availability. And additionally, we have Wild and Out, a new show on Thursdays that's going to be focusing all on Wild. We've taken out the Wild from all the other series of the week, and we're putting it in Wild and Out. It covers the weird and wacky decks. It also covers just what's been going on and what you can look to expect from the Wild series. Speaking of which, please consider subscribing to our Twitch channel. The subscription enables the THL team to help cover the various costs for operating a website and improve the quality of our streams and content to our viewers. And I see someone asking in our chat, what is Twitch Prime? Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Bowmaster. Well, if you have Amazon Prime or Prime Gaming, you can sub to the channel for free. There is a little button, a purple button below the stream. If you could go ahead and check that, you can see if you have the subscribe free for Twitch Prime, and go ahead and click that for us. So hit that hard button, keep the notifications on to make sure you catch your team streams live. We appreciate each and every one of you, especially note to our viewers. Check out THL's other social media points of interest. The website is at teamhearthlegends.com. Follow us on Twitter at THL_HS. Join us on Discord at Team Hearth Legends. THL PW Podcast is missing wherever podcasts are sold. And there's Players of the Week that you can find on the blog, and they're on the Discord every single week as well.
All right. And now back to the matches. We have one last series to go through our open deck list. Conquest format
because
series.
as a reminder, we are no longer covering Wild on this show, so we've just got the Pro Series remaining.
Indeed. So for Pro Series, we're going to start in the Pink Conference. We're going to start with F2L versus Popeye's Spicy Chicken Sandwich. Very interesting match, in my opinion. F2L has 80 points after 5 weeks of playing. So they have had their bye, while Popeyes has not had their bye yet. And they're pretty close in points regardless of that. And we see here that Robobson has taken a sweep over Mick for their first match of the set. However, we kind of look through the rest of the matches. We got Myanna Dawn versus Marty B. Honest Zabe versus Qsns. We've got Lampy Series versus Sunday. And Wet Goose versus Itachi. I think this is going to be a very close match. And I do think that both of these teams will end up being playoff teams out of the Pink Conference. So this is going to be crucial for F2L to this will be pretty crucial for F2L to really assert themselves as like an upper echelon team to make a contention even for like the 2 or possible 1 seed by the end of the season. But they have very tough opponents up against them in Popeye's Spicy Chicken Sandwich. Where they do have Lampy Series, who is one of the America's, I believe he's an America's Grandmaster. They have some outstanding players. Myanna Dawn, who is 5-1, sitting up there in that first spot. But Marty B also doing incredibly well for himself at 4-1. That's kind of a clash of titans, and I think I'm gonna give it to Marty. Gonna give it to my boy NHL. Yeah, unfortunately you did MPV. We did go over your team's match, but that'll be available in the VOD if you want to go ahead and watch that back. Yeah. And then Zabe versus Qsns. I don't know too much about Qsns. But at 2-3 seems to be having a pretty decent season. Zabe at 3-3. I think Qsns will take it. And I think that Lambie series will take it over Sunday, and I think Wet Goose will take it over Itachi. But I think that the Itachi versus Wet Goose match is gonna be pretty close. So I am predicting a 3-2 for F2L this week.
Yeah, Itachi just doesn't have the data here because Itachi had to get quite a few subs in a row. Just
Yeah.
an unfortunate situation.
Yep.
But I mean, still looking across the aisle at Popeye's spicy chicken sandwich. Popeye's spicy chicken sandwich is so consistently good. Has the GM diff on it with Lambie series. It's just a question of can Myanodon beat Marty B right after Rebobson takes it over Mick. I feel like Marty B is going to win, and then I just don't know with Itachi currently. There's just he's coming back and he's doing really well in the other series. If he's doing as well in the other series as he is in Pro, then I think he will win, and that means it is a narrow win for F2L. That is what I'll predict.
Gotcha.
I am. God, this is tough. It's hard not to give F2L the edge here just because of that first 4-0. But I'm gonna say that Marty B takes it over Myanodon, Qsns takes it over Zabe, but then Lambie series and Wet Goose are gonna take it for the 4 and the 5. So I think F2L is gonna take it still 3-2.
Right. So it looks like we're all in agreement that it's going to be a close series. And that, I mean, that's just a match worth paying attention to. I'm curious because Marty's really kind of on top of things when it comes to like what decks are being played and what decks are doing well to help his team get, especially Robobson is the same type of way. Guys who are really good at kind of figuring out what's kind of going to be good in this post, especially in a post patch meta. This was a huge patch. So we'll see how, like, we've been constantly just like unsure about how things are going to play out. So moving on, we have Geranium's pick. We're going to be moving to the Black Conference here.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a pretty obvious pick for just an insane match. Brushy Tuna, the top team in Black Conference, versus Bread Ape, the winners last season. And Brushy Tuna had their first loss. Not 1 week ago. I believe 1 week ago they had a bye, but the week before that, and now they're facing, just an absolutely insane team in Bread Ape. Quick down and dirty. It's going to be a second loss for Brushy Tuna. That is my prediction. Simple as Heat Shock, Valdis, and you know what? Avi. Done.
I do think that Heat Shock wins in the 1. Ducharme's doing really well in Pro. Though. So I'm glad to see him doing well in this series. Valdis versus Based Inc. is a very interesting match, but I will lean towards Based. Ron versus C-Mac, I'm giving it to Ron. Donde versus Avi. I'll give it to Donde. And Lotus versus Ufric. I think Ufric takes it. I am gonna predict a win for Brushy Tuna with the middle 3 getting win. Man,
Okay,
I'm picking against Lotus a lot. That doesn't feel right.
I'll give a little bit more reasoning. So So I believe that Desharmo is doing really well in the past meta with before the nerfs, and so I feel like the nerfs are probably going to shake him up a bit and make it so Heat Shock is even more favored. And then Valdis always brings super duper wacky stuff. So I think that with the nerfs, with the new meta, and because Valdis and Heat Shock like to
They're gonna bring.
really study the
We're gonna see
opponents.
Hero Power Mate. Watch it.
Yeah, he's gonna bring hero power.
I've
Mage.
been saying that too. Come on.
He's gonna bring like some Libram Paladin
Oh,
you
Libram
know,
Pally is good though.
okay, fine. He'll bring something spicy. Or
Yeah.
he'll bring uh control quest warrior.
Sure.
Like you know,
Yeah.
and I think that's gonna have a bit of an edge over base stink, and then Avi's opponent is Donde, so Avi's gonna win.
I feel like, God, this is a hard one. I'm very shocked to see Lotus Knight in the 5 seat here, but I guess anything is possible when you have such a stacked team. I feel like Brushy Tuna's definitely got this. I'm gonna say Based, Ron, and Lotus Knight take it, making it 3-2. With obviously and Heat Shock taking wins for Red 8.
Gotcha.
Whatever the result, this is still a very very close week.
Yeah.
Between the two teams.
For sure. I expect these teams to both make playoffs and both be fighting.
It seems very
Both-
likely.
I mean, yeah, we'll see how the end of the season plays out. Like where these teams end up being seeded, and pro is never a given. Because you can start having bad weeks, and next thing you know, the other teams are kind of catching up. But it looks pretty good for these teams right now who are up there in the standings, especially especially teams who have had their bye weeks and are sitting up at the top, which is pretty much all the top teams in Black Conference. So it'll be interesting. It's still a very tight race, all the way from the top down to, I'd say, 6th place with Sushi Rats. I think Swagoi and Make Love Not Warcraft are kind of maybe a bit too far behind, both of them having a bye week left. So we'll see how things play out. Faction going on their bye this week. So they'll be sitting at 78 after the week, so we'll see where they land afterwards. Yeah, and it looks like we have one final match left. But if anyone wants to make any last comments on Brushy Tuna versus Bredick before we move on, feel free.
No.
Okay. So we're ready to go into our final match. JR has picked this match from the Black Conference.
I decided to go with For the Clowns versus the Sushi Rats. And I think this was a good one just because I think it's pretty close. Both of these teams are having solid runs right about now. For the Clowns, obviously a pretty recognized team. Very stacked, very powerful, and having some pretty well-established players on it. And Sushi Rats not having as many recognizable names, but at the same time doing a very good job right now at a record of 3-2, and really keeping themselves in that playoff race. I do feel like this one is definitely in For the Clowns' favor, but looking at the matchups individually based on record, I think it is pretty close. The matchup I'm very curious to find out is see how it plays out is Neji Boston versus Hickett, because Neji is a very solid player, but I'd love to see if Hickett can pull off an upset here. It's going to be a very interesting match for sure, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we've got Nails versus Money Pockets, Pescoa versus Griff, Super Chicken versus Dead Snoop 123, and German Shep versus Sprinkle. I do think that Nails, um, Super Chicken, and German Shep are going to take it for the clowns with Griff. Um, well, actually, you know what? I'm going to say Nails, Neji Boston, and German Shep take it, and then I'm going to say Dead Snoop and Griff take it for Sushi Rats. So yeah, 3-2 for the clowns. I think this one's going to be a close one, but a good one.
Yeah, For the Clowns just has so many standout players. And Money Pocket's performing very well on Sushi Rats. So is Griff. I just feel like For the Clowns just has the quality all the way, and we'll be taking the week. Um, you know, For the Clowns is a team that always makes it to the playoffs. I say this almost every week, but man, does For the Clowns make it to the playoffs, and man, will they I think continue to do that.
Um, hmm. I mean, I guess you can call me. I mean, there's no bias here. I just looked at the matches, and I think that a lot of these favor the clowns. I think Nails versus Money Pockets is the closest match. I think that could go either way. I think Pascoa takes it over Griff. I think Neji takes it over Hickett. Shep over Sprinkle. If Chicken doesn't throw, he has a good chance to win against Dead Snoop. I think it's a 3-2 or a 4-1 for the clowns. Very likely this week. The team they're just rolling on. They're just especially coming off a good win last week with 4 people winning and only Super Chicken losing. I think they're gonna keep it going and they're just gonna win.
They do have momentum on their side for sure.
Yeah. Um, I guess when we were looking at matches, we missed that the top 2 pink teams points per week are actually facing each other in 5 Boxing Wizards versus Sheepies. And that's an extremely good match. So I would also
How
be
about
looking at
that?
that match as well. I don't have it pulled up, but definitely keep an eye out for that one. There's going to be a bunch of really good matches in there. Um,
Good to know. Good to
Yeah,
know.
it's interesting that that Donkey brought that up, considering he's the
well,
one seed
Donkey is on
on
the
Five
5
Boxing
Boxing Wizards,
Wizards.
yeah.
Hmm. But yeah,
I
definitely like Donkey Dardar, Total Orange, and meanwhile in Sheepies, Wide Hunter, Cyan Sheepies, Swanky Pants, Always Lethal. There's
Mhm.
a lot of insane players on both teams. Um,
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. Um, ooh,
But hey, in our defense, Five Boxing Wizards and Sheepies are top point earning teams. They're going to make it to playoffs. We're also featuring some of the teams that are sort of on the fringe. Like I think it's also an interesting storyline to see that F2L is, whether they are going to get this win and really sort of solidify more of a placement in the playoffs.
yeah, for sure.
Hmm,
For sure.
agreed.
Um,
I mean, right now we're kind of at the halfway point, I think, for how many weeks of a pro regular season is there? I'm
I'm pretty
forgetting.
sure it's. I'm pretty sure there's like 9 weeks. No,
I'm bringing up
there's
the
10,
schedule.
10. Is it 10 weeks? 10 weeks of pro.
It's 9 weeks of pro.
9 weeks. Nine
Uh,
weeks.
Okay.
we just got
And
into
this
week
is
7
week
here.
7, right? Or is
Yeah,
this week
this
6?
so
Last
pro and
weeks.
Legacy will end the same week this season.
That's what
Because
I thought.
because
Okay.
Legacy has those 2 extra matches to go to 9. To go to 9 weeks, while Hero I believe is going to be 11 weeks. Um,
As usual.
yep, 11 weeks as it was last season. So yeah, I think got a lot of great matches this week. Um, definite, yeah, 8 matches, and one bye week. That makes sense. Um, I think that we're heading into the end of the season is always very exciting. Um, with standings kind of shaping up, um, and just kind of being able to look forward to a playoff race with like kind of those middles teams who are all going to fight for those last couple of playoff spots. It happens every single season. I'm very excited to see that. I'm gonna go ahead and pop it back to the caster screen. So I'm going to go ahead and let my co-hosts give their final thoughts for the evening. So, Geranium, any final thoughts you want to give?
I mean, we're already seeing a little bit of the upsets happen. We saw Cheesy 10, stop the undefeated streak. We're going to see, as Donkey mentioned, two of the undefeated players are facing each other in pro, and we're going to see, I think, a lot more upsets happen this week just because of the sort of the upsetting of the meta. So this is a crazy week to look out for, and it's getting into the final bit here. And we're gonna see how these teams shake out into the final weeks. Very excited.
Yeah, awesome, definitely. Jr. Any final thoughts?
Regarding that match, not really.
Just
I think it's pro is looking very exciting right about now, and I'm looking forward to when we talk more about what the playoff picture is looking like in the next couple weeks.
awesome. Well, we don't just have this show and we're done with content for the week. We do have match shows for the remainder of this week into Sunday. So we have some exciting matches. So Thursday Throwdown tomorrow we have Jolt C versus Lefty 2111. That is in Legacy. So that'll be very interesting.
I think that's a typo, Fish. Because
No.
Chaos Theory is facing Dad Legend this week.
Oh, Jolt C is on
Legacy.
No, sorry, Jolt C is on different team. Yeah, he's on we even talked about this match, I'm pretty sure.
We did.
I think we did. Hold on.
It's DMD
Seek
versus
Guidance.
Seek Guidance.
There we go.
Yeah. So it's gonna be Lefty versus Jolt C, and the team will get fixed. I just had that written down in the notes. And that's gonna be Heat Shock and myself very likely on the cast. We've got Friday Night Fight, some exciting action. Got 2 Hero Series matches at 8 p.m. starting with 9 eyebrows of Even Without Turt We Must Still Skirt versus Jespine of Snakes on a Campaign. 9 p.m. Eastern we will have the first Battlegrounds lobby for so that'll be the Friday Battleground lobby, and then 10 p.m. Eastern we're gonna have Hero Series action again with my co-host JR Juggerlaw going up against Itachi. That is Tam Pam Surf Slam versus F2L Black. That'll be Saku and probably Corden, and I would assume that they've been kind of taking the duties for this season so far. Next up in chronological order, we're gonna have Salty Saturday. We're gonna have not Salty Saturday. Schoolstone. Saturday Schoolstone will have a wild match from the NA Brown Conference. So it's gonna be Dr. BOMD versus Agent PWE. So that's gonna be Wild THL Fanatics versus the Usual Suspects. And then at 3 p.m. we're gonna be switching. I believe we're gonna be switching to a Hero Series match. I am not 100% sure if this match is happening at then, but it's supposed to be Oz versus Rebob for Hero. Because I know they rescheduled. But I was told that they would be on stream at 3 p.m. Eastern. That's Tam Pams versus F2L Black. Salty Saturday. Have Hero Series Mr. Python versus Super Chicken. So Snakes versus Turt. 9 p.m. a Pro Series Pink Conference match. We have Wild 9 of Mancrake's Multiple Wives versus Reverb of Aussie Pro Mafia. So going to be great to see that match. Looking forward to seeing Reverb play on stream personally. And then Sunday Skullstone, we don't have any matches. The one that's on there on the sheet is from Wild. Joltsy is on Bluefish.
Not true.
Not true? I messed that up again?
No, the person, the 5 seed on Bluefish is Judo Chop.
Duh. So I just kept messing that all up. Anyways, and then Sunday Showdown, I have this up on my screen in a different window. So we have three things going on. We have McBanterface versus Pocket Train at 7 p.m. Eastern. That'll be Pro Series. And then at 8 p.m. Eastern, we will have Kazgar versus Neji Boston in Hero Series. This will be the second time that these two go up against each other. So that's going to be Tampams versus F2L. And, that might be one. That might be close to the deciding match on the series, depending on how things play out. And at 9 p.m., we'll have Battlegrounds Lobby B. That'll be Saku and Steffi for Battlegrounds. And then for the standard matches, we will have Myanodon and Saku, or maybe Dollar Bills and Myanodon with Saku as the op. So
Shenanigans.
that'll be great fun. If you would like to play we do have a couple of open slots left. Thursday has either an 8 p.m. or a 10 p.m. slot open. If you'd like to play tomorrow night, please contact me. Yeah, I mean, we'll see how things play out for slots. So thank you everybody for hanging out and watching this episode. It's great to see everyone in chat having a good time. And yeah, I guess that's gonna do it here for Tavern Talk. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, everybody. And until then, have a fantastic rest of your evenings, and we will see you all very soon. Take care, everybody.
Take care, everybody.
Good night, guys.
Greeting, traveler.